Hello and welcome back to the Delta analysis video. Today's Delta Haxorus and Delta Fracture, which are water and Delta Haxorus is a water and steel type. Delta Fracture is a pure water type, which is a very good defensive typing because with water steel is only weak to ground, electric, and fighting, and has a lot of the resistances. In Delta Fracture is only weak to grass and electric, which and like a few resistances, but only two weaknesses, which is very good defensively as a water type. But you're not going to be very defensive, as you might see in the stats. It's very, very strong. Delta Haxorus has decent bulk, 76 HP, 90 defense, 70 speed F, but that's just like a bonus, nice bonus to have when you have 97 speed and 147 attack, which is very, very strong. Delta Fracture is a little weaker, but it does have with EV Light a little better bulk. 66, 70, 50 is a little bit better with EV Light, and 67 speed is a lot slower, but you'll see how Delta Fracture functions later. And 170 attack is 117 is a lot lower than 147, but it's still not weak. Like, it's pretty strong still. And you'll see that in the end, I like Fracture a lot. Haxorus is really good, but Fracture is really, I love Fracture. Okay, moving on. The abilities. This is only for Delta Haxorus. I'll cover Delta Fracture later because it's more fun. If I don't spoil what it does yet, if you don't know it already, it has Strong Jaw, which boosts biting type moves by like 1.3, I think, which is very good. A Water Field means you can get burned, which could be good. Like, actually, that's actually an underrated ability. Is it just you can get burned or you can get burned in rain? Either one. Oh, you just cannot get burned. Waterfall is actually underrated on this thing. I didn't consider it. If you don't have biting moves and if you don't have heavy slam because of heavy metal, then there's really no point to run. Do not run Waterfall because not getting burned is kind of nice. And I didn't consider that. Heavy metal, you're not that heavy. Let's be honest. Like, this thing is like 200 kilos. That's not that heavy with heavy metal. And you hit like 400. Like, you need to hit like 800 to actually hit the hard heavy slam. So I don't think heavy metal is a good ability. So Strong Jaw if you're using biting moves of Waterfill. If not, and that's basically it. Some relevant utility gets taunt, gets roar, different setup, different other status moves. Taunt, roar, phase out, get more hazard chip or something. You probably won't be clicking roar that often with this thing. You won't just want to hit as hard as possible. Knockoff removes items. Fracture doesn't get this, I don't think, but I'll say which one Fracture gets. Fracture gets, it does get taunt, it does also get roar, it doesn't get knockoff, doesn't get bullet punch, gets aqua jet though, and the Draco Jet, it also gets Draco Jet. But bullet punch, Draco Jet, aqua jet, good priority, especially bullet punch and aqua jet are stab on the ones that get it. So that's very good. And also, like, it's just strong priority, and especially with setup, it can actually be quite strong. The first set, and like basically the only set that you need for Haxorus, it covers basically everything, is setup. I could see his item like Choice Scarf, because it's very strong, and like the speed is like a little lower, so Choice Scarf is a good item, but this set covers more than just Choice Scarf would, so I'm just going with setup. Sword Sense, it's insanely scary. Anchor Shot, very good steel stab. Trap Steel opponent. If you Anchor Shot is something like bulky, like a water type, they can hurt you. Especially, like, I put as ability Strong Jaw. If you have Waterfill, they can Scald Burn you, and that's insanely stupid. And like, you can just lock in a water type as they try to wall you, and you just Sword Sense on top of them. And like, as you can see, it has agility, it gets autotomized. You can speed boost on them too. Like, you can just take advantage of a bulky mon with Anchor Shot, and you just can't realistically switch in something against this that can't hurt it, basically. If you're gonna switch something into this, it has to be able to deal with Haxorus, and that's terrifying. Okay. A liquidation, best stab it gets 100% accuracy, can lower defense, like, it's just the best option you have, it's the strongest reliable move. Well, I think it's the strongest physical offensive move you get, so that's a win. Close combat, It's just for the neutral game, like water types. You don't hit water types very hard, although they don't hit you very hard either most of the time. Um, it helps with dragons, helps with anything that resists your stab, because otherwise stabs will probably be stronger. Helps with steel types, helps with normal types, helps with dark types. It's just great coverage to have. But if you don't need it, you don't need it. Like you have so many options. You have agility. It's otherwise, as I said, to boost speed, like double dance, or knockoff to remove items, hit psychic types, hit ghost types. Crunch does the same thing. Can be stronger with strong jaw, as like the asterisks or strong jaw in affected. I forgot it with psychic fangs. Doesn't matter. Aqua Jet, Bullet Punch, always good to have priority options if you don't plan on using agility or totemize, or they just naturally good in a matchup. Earthquake, great move. It's weird to see Earthquake in like, it's kinda okay to run Earthquake because it's such a good move. It's such a reliable move, but you don't need Earthquake. I think Close Combat is better for like the neutral water types. Ice Fang in case of dragons, in case of grass types, if you want to hit those hard with Strong Jaw. Play Rough helps with dragon types and fighting types, but mostly dragon types. And dark types too, I guess. Stone Edge, Rock Slide. I don't really see the point of running them, but you could if you need if you feel a need to run those. And Psychic Fang for like fighting types, poison types. You don't really need Psychic Fangs, but it does get boosted by Strong Jaw, and sometimes that might be stronger than any other option. And X's are for grass types as well. If you feel like you don't want to run Strong Jaw, Ice Fang for grass types, you can just run X's or with Waterfill instead. That's basically Delta Haxorus. It just you clicks buttons, and it's really annoying to kill because it has such a good defensive typing and decent natural bulk, and it just source dance. You like Anchor Shot is terrifying pressure, even if you don't use it. Like you can switch in a water type. What water types can actually threaten this thing significantly? Like if you switch in a Gastrodon, what are the odds this thing isn't just weakness policy, source dance, and you're dead, or like weakness policy, agility, and everything on your team is dead because it's +2/+2, maybe even +4/+2, and it's just terrifying. So yeah, this thing is very, very good. That's basically what it comes down to. It's such a stupidly strong mon and it's massive physical threat. But that was the boring Pokemon. Now it's a fun Pokemon. So yeah. Next up is Delta Fracture, the pure water shark. This thing gets Swift Swim. Yeah, that's why it's good. It does also get Strong Jaw, but it also gets Swift Swim. And that's what you're gonna be running like literally every single time. If you get this, you get it for Swift Swim. That's the only point. Source Dance, Liquidation, that's all you really need in most matchups, like guaranteed. And then just whatever the water resists, cover those. Whether it's Play Rough for the dragons, whether it's Ice Fang or X's or for the grass types. Ice Fang is like weaker, but it covers both the dragons and grass types. Like you could go with that. Throat Chop, if something like wants to roar you out, that's actually a decent option. And you can't do it, kill it, but that you're kind of bulky with Eviolite too. So like, do you care? Like the bulky water types struggle to beat you without haze or roar or something like that. What else are water resist? Water types are probably the hardest thing to deal with. Bulky water types. +2 superpower, probably the strongest thing you have, or Outrage, I guess. But Outrage forces and parries. Although, do you care? Kind of, maybe. It depends. So yeah, it's very good. Like I've used this thing before. It's actually quite good. But like back then, it still didn't have Liquidation at Waterfall or Aqua Tail, and I missed literally every single Aqua Tail. It's insane. This thing didn't hit a move for the life of it. But it's really good when it does hit moves. It kills things. +2 in range. Liquidation is stronger than Haxorus. +2. Like in range, this thing is stronger than Haxorus. It's actually very, very scary to deal with. But that downside, it does rely on rain. If it's not on rain, it's not very fast. If it's in rain, it is very fast. Like it outspeeds like basically everything in rain, and that's why it's so good. It's so good. Like you wouldn't expect Delta Fracture to be good, but it's actually very good because of its massive attacks and Swift Trap. I think that's it. I think that's everything I have to say. Massive physical threats, both of them. One of them is more of a setup threat or a choice scarf threat. The other one is a range threat. Um, Great typings, defensively decent stats. EV Light on the Fracture is really good. So yeah, I love both of these so much. These are both really good. So yeah, that's Delta Fracture and Delta Haxorus. Next up is Delta Golurk. I really like Delta Golurk. Its design is actually flames. But see y'all whenever I have time to make that. Goodbye.